Hello and welcome back to the NBL1 show, thanks to Coles Express. Great to have your company. I'm Megan Hustwaite and this is Pete Hooley. Pete, another huge weekend of action.
Another huge weekend. Again, more highlights, more outstanding performances and two guests. We like to have the veterans, we like to have the players who have been around, but two up-and-coming future stars. Looking forward to chatting to both of them. Yeah,
it should be good. Now, a bit of news to start us off this week. There's a player that we're not going to see in action probably for the rest of the season at the Melbourne Tigers. You're the newsbreaker, Pete. Tell us what's happening down there.
Well, not potentially the newsbreaker. I saw it the other night. Felix von Hoff going to be part of The Bachelor, which again...
Not part of The Bachelor.
Not surprising. That's just what he does. He's in ridiculously good shape. And I saw the little thing that came out there. It said ex or pro basketball star. So put those in quotes. That's a bit of a stretch, but good luck to him. And I'm looking forward. I'm sure everyone's looking forward to watching him.
I mean, this is, of course, the first time that we've had a player as an out on an NBL1 team, you know, out of the team, in brackets, The Bachelor.
Bachelor reason. So I'm just hoping that when we do get around to watching this, that he comes out and says, he scored 2 points in the NBL off my assist. That's the one thing that I'm going to try and claim throughout this thing. I'm sure he'll mention his 0-for-6 debut, one of the worst debuts in NBL history, and I'm sure that probably helped him get over the line to become The Bachelor. And let's hope he finds love.
Yeah.
That's what I think he needs.
Oh, absolutely. Do you think he might get a cameo on the show, you know, when they bring people in?
Well, I haven't been reached out, but Bachelor producers, directors, if you're watching this, I'm ready to roll.
Yeah, absolutely. And a little bit of other news over the weekend, Pete.
Oh, yes, a little other news. I'm expecting, or my wife is expecting, a child in October, so very excited for that. That'll be a busy time, NBL kicking back up, but looking forward to that, and everything's going well so far.
Well, I thought on behalf of the NBL1 show, we'd get a little onesie for baby Hooley, so I'll give that over to you to take home for the baby.
This is a stitch up, but thank you so much. I had no idea.
No, I wasn't going to tell you.
Thank you very much. She will love this. We've already started getting things, or she has.
Oh, it's so exciting.
I'm just a yes man, so if she calls me and just says she needs an orange juice, I'm sorry, but I've got to go.
Yeah. Has there been any cravings so far?
Yeah, sugar.
Yeah.
Sugar, I found out. Not good for me because it's in the house, but yeah, love some sugar.
Lucky there's a Coles Express around every corner for those pregnancy cravings. Let's crack into all the action this week. We'll start with the wild card action, Pete, and it is wild, and there's a lot of action going on. We'll start with Duke commit Tyrese Proctor.
I mean, he's exciting. That he, as you mentioned, he's committed to the Duke University, but he hit the court with Basketball Australia, Centre of Excellence. They're part of that wild card conference. They won both games. He had 12-3-3 against Townsville, followed by 13-3-2. He's going to try and fill the box score. He's going to try and do it all. And again, he doesn't have to do too much. He's just got to try and refine his game now. It's exciting. He gets to go be a part of this new Duke legacy that's starting without Coach K. But Rory Hawke, he had 26 points for the COE. He was their highest scorer.
And then the BACOE women's team split their weekend with a win over Mackay and a narrow loss to Townsville. Isabel Borlase was the standout against Townsville with 18, and then Dallas Lofbridge with 19 against Mackay. So great to see some young guns in action.
Well, it is great. I love the Wildcard Conference. We get to see this young talent on display, and they get to have that taste of what it's going to be like and continue to grow their games.
Let's take a look at NBL1 South now. Some familiar names, as we love to see, starting with Sarah Blitzarves and the Geelong Wildcats. They both had a monster round with two big wins.
Oh, huge wins over Knox and Eltham. Blitzarves had 19 and 17 against Knox, followed that up with 23 and 14 and 5 against Eltham. They're 5-1 on the season. They're going to be a really tough beat the way they're playing.
Well, Bendigo are a tough beat as well. They defeated Sandringham Test Magin in some great form, 36 points for them. And then Alice Cooneck, great to see an Australian representative back in NBL1. She played for Nunawading Spectres about a decade ago, and she's back, baby.
Is she what? 40 points, 9 rebounds and 5 assists. And again, that's what we like to see. It might be a long time between drinks since she's played for Nunawading, but she has not missed a beat, and I'm expecting a really, really big season from her.
Well, speaking of not missing a beat, a Melbourne United duo are shining it up for Sandringham.
Well, they are. Big signings in the off-season for Sandringham. Shea Illy, he had 23 points in their first game, and David Aquera, the youngster who's now part of the Melbourne United roster going forward, he had 13 and 19 rebounds. Player coach Dave Barlow suited up for a little bit. He's going to be helping out Reece Carter on that coaching panel. But expecting big things from the Sabres. And speaking of big, Dylan Stith had 29 and 10 in Frankston's win over Waverley. They're sitting third with 4-1 on the season. Frankston were good last season. They're going to be good again, led by Dylan Stith.
Gosh, there's some great talent and very close contests, and the ladder is very tight in NBL1 South, man, isn't it?
Well, it is. Again, it makes it really important to win those games you're expected to win and take care of business against the top tier teams. And speaking of taking care of business, we're about to speak to him. But Nick Marshall, Adelaide development player, just announced he's re-signed with the Adelaide 36ers. Look forward to getting his thoughts on that. He's not slowing down. He was player of the week last week, but he had 32, 9 and 4 against Ringwood and 31 and 6 against Keilor. They're undefeated. Mount Gambier sitting 6 and 0. Big things coming for Nick Marshall.
Yeah, he's had a huge last 4 weeks. Welcome to the show from Mount Gambier, Nick Marshall.
Thank you.
You've had a big couple of weeks. How's it feeling out there?
Yeah, it feels really good. We're getting wins, so that's all that matters. It's nice.
Well, exciting news dropped today for you personally. You're going to re-sign with the Adelaide 36ers. Firstly, how are you feeling about that the opportunity, I guess, to be able to come back and see what you can do in the NBL?
Yeah, it's so good. I got something to look forward to at the end of the season. Locked in Adelaide, my hometown as well. My family's there. It's really good. With CJ, I liked it this year. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Well, before we touch on a little bit about your first year in the NBL as a development player, talk a little bit about now, I guess the pressure is off in a sense that you've got somewhere locked in for a future now for a couple of years. So you're going out there now, you kind of just play for fun, or does it maybe add a little bit more pressure on you to show CJ Burton now, the coaching staff of the Sixers, this is what I can do in the NBL1, this is what I'm hoping to translate to the NBL?
Yeah, I think I'm just trying to stay and keep playing the way I am, like keep getting better and keep, like, obviously the NBL is a lot better than the NBL1. So when we go against teams like Knox or Geelong this week, when we're going against like NBL quality guys, it's trying to go at them and show CJ that I can play against them. And yeah, like just play my game really.
So you're trying to show CJ that you can take it up to the best in this league. What else are you working on in terms of your individual game?
He wants me to work on getting assists, so I'm trying to get my guys open and do that when I can. I can score. I feel like I can score whenever. So when my team needs me to do that, I can do that. But also try and get my teammates open.
Well, I'd love to hear that, because try and get that in as soon as possible. Once Tom Daly's back, the assists normally go to Tom Daly. He'll be throwing them to you. But I want to talk a little bit about when you started. So you're a development player, calling those games in the NBL Blitz, and you got a big opportunity there. What was going through your mind to be able to go out there? We see a lot of young guys maybe take a step back, maybe a bit anxious, trying to figure out where they fit. There was no anxiousness for you. You went full bore, and you really showed from the Blitz what you're capable of.
Yeah, it's really just like a nothing to lose mentality. Just like go out there and do what you do. Kind of like, I believe that like the work that I put in, like I can go against guys in the NBL, and like training with Sixers every day. Like at training, I felt like I showed what I can do. So yeah, like the NBL Blitz was just like once you get out there, first bucket. If it doesn't go in, it doesn't go in. But like just next play.
Well, the Pioneers are on a bit of a blitz at the moment, undefeated in NBL1 to start the season. Tell us a bit about the style of basketball the team's playing at the moment.
Yeah, so we like to get up and down, play fast, which is really fun. Like we just sort of like get up, down, play through each other, get on the rim, take the open threes when we can, and yeah, just sort of run it down. Run it up and down the floor with the other team. We believe that no one can really hang with us. So,
well, we see that especially over the last weekend. You guys are exciting the way you get up and about. Now, we know you're athletic the way that you play. Now, I'm sure you saw probably the dunk of the NBL1 season a couple of weeks ago up in Darwin. Yeah. Only chance I really see someone beating it is on that one hoop in Mount Gambier, down the away end. It's a little bit lower than the rest. Is there a chance we might see a Pioneer put up a contender?
Yeah, hopefully. I tried to dunk on the weekend. I got a flat tire, so try to get my legs underneath me, and then hopefully I'll be able to throw one down.
I reckon someone is a big chance. He is as athletic as they come. Talk about the team makeup. Michael Harris, now he comes over from Forestville, joins the team, and what's it like to play alongside him? Another exciting talent.
Yeah, it's been really fun. Like Harris is one of my best mates, so we played on the under-20 state team together, and he's been training with us. Like was a training player with the Sixers this year. So like on scout team, we were already like playing together. So we got to build up like that sort of chemistry. And I just like when I'm coming down in transition, I'm sort of looking for him, Q-Bank, and guys that are open that I know can shoot the three. It just makes my job easier, like, and opens the floor up for me as well.
So Nick, as you mentioned, you've got the Super Cats coming up this round. It's going to be a huge clash.
Yeah, it's going to be a big one. The Ice House is going to be pumping. It's also Easy's, they're celebrating his 250th game. So hopefully it's packed and it'll be buzzing in there.
Before we let you go, you mentioned Eric Burton, a guy who's been around the league for a long time. You have a chance to really learn from some of these veterans who have done this at a high level for a long time. Burton's one of them, Tom Daly is another, and even in the NBL, you've got Mitch McCarron, Daniel Johnson. How often do you lean on these guys to learn things along the way?
Yeah, it's really good, like, just to pick their brain. They've done it before. So, like, this year with Adelaide, it was nice. Like, I was rooming. When I were on the road, I'd either be rooming with Sunday or Besto. So it was nice to like chat with them and see how they view things and just learn and like continue to learn and get better.
Well, Mount Gambier, we know the Ice House does get rocking and the community gets behind the Pioneers. So when you're not out on the floor, what are you doing in your spare time in Mount Gambier?
At the moment, it's just watching the NBA, but when the NBA is not really on, we will be playing Fortnite with the guys in the house or just, go get some extra work in. But yeah, there's not a heap to do here, but I enjoy it. It's a great community.
And plenty of time for winning, which is great to see. Thanks for joining us on the show this week, Nick, and good luck for the rest of your campaign.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Things are heating up in NBL1 North, and so is Todd Blanchfield.
I mean, we're expecting a big season of him, and he's delivered to start with. He went off for Rockhampton. He had 38 and 10 against Mackay, and then Bullets Import alongside him. He had 26 and 11. Isaiah Moss. They are going to be a really tough duo to go up against. And then a shout out to Kyron Galloway as well, who had 26, 8 and 5 blocks for the Meteors. Sunshine
Coast beat Northside. Now, Sunshine Coast were without a star, but they did have a star who stepped up.
Well, no Anthony Drimmick, but Mitch McCarron for Northside. Well, he was always going to be their main guy. Phoenix-wise, former Wildcat Mason Bragg had 23, 5 and 7 in their win and went to the free throw line 17 or 18 times. Got there at will, and that's a big win regardless of who was playing on the other side.
Illawarra Hawk Isaac White had two big games for Ipswich. In the first one, he had 24 points in a win over North Gold Coast, followed by 34 against Red City Roar.
Mr. Green Light, every time it came off the bench for Brian Gorgian, would get him up, and I reckon he loves the NBL1 season because he's never seen a shot he doesn't like, and fair enough when you shoot the ball like him.
Good mullet too.
It's really good mullet. I wonder if he's still doing the mullet shake, or maybe I have to find out. He gets a little mullet shake going.
Hopefully this weekend. Now, Kayla George, another week of dominant performance via the Opals Star. For the Cairns Dolphins, 21 points, 16 boards and 8 assists.
That's a huge game from her. And again, I think we're going to just scratch the surface on what we're seeing from Kayla George. Mackay lost on the men's side, but they came away with the win on the women's side. 32 and 10 points for the Meteorettes on that side from Kayla.
Now, when we look at the most exciting young guards in the country, two of them are playing for the Northside Wizards in Shyla Hill, who had 28.7 rebounds, 4 assists and 4 steals, and Tiana Mangakahi, who had 25, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, 6 steals as they got the win over Sunshine Coast. Two Opal squad members and two of the best going around. They are going to be very hard to beat.
Well, they are. And again, the way that they play alongside each other is the most exciting thing. Anytime you know what you're capable of doing, you play alongside someone who can be as good as yourself. You get to form this duo that makes you really tough to beat on any given night. And we're starting to see that. Shyla's putting up big numbers, and I reckon those two are going to continue to be tough to beat the way they're playing.
Opal's in action next week against Japan in Sydney, which is going to be fantastic to see. Someone who will be part of that team is Lauren Nicholson, and she's in incredible form for the Sutherland Sharks.
She's been in incredible form for the last few years. They split with a win over Central Coast. She had 27 and 8 against Newcastle, and then had 40 and 9 against Central Coast. And Yes, she performed at her usual best. Another Lauren in NBL1 East, unfortunately, did not perform. Goat watch this weekend, was battling COVID. We hope she's doing all right, but just a minor speed bump in what's going to be a really fun season for the Goat.
Even goats get COVID.
Apparently.
They're not immune to viruses either.
Either.
Amanda stood up for Albury in LJ's absence with 37 points and 8 steals for the Bandits, but it wasn't enough for a well-rounded Nationals team. Speaking of national team, let's talk about Canberra.
Well, I mean, they overcame a big effort from our guest last week, Brandon Jenkins. He had 32 and 12, and Glenn Morrison had 37 and 5 assists. So, Brandon, what a great guy, what a great character. Expecting a big season from him.
And it's been a big week for the Makers.
Well, it has. Makua and Matua won an NBL championship with the Sydney Kings, and their cousin Shier Maker led the Inner West Bulls to a win over the North Bears, had 17 and 9. So it just runs in the family, success and buckets.
And then for the Newcastle Falcons, Mars Cherry had 36 points and 8 rebounds. The Falcons third on the ladder. As we take a look at NBL1 West, we'll start with Coburn, and they had a huge win. I think that's a bit of an understatement.
Oh, it is. 118 to 51 over Perth, thanks to 29 points, 7 threes from Catherine Tudor. Jessie Edwards had 20 and 11 for the Cougars, who are sitting second at 5 and 1.
Joondalup are still undefeated at 6 and 0 with a 106 to 51 win over the Southwest Slammers. Tage Morrell with 22 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists. She is as consistent as they come.
Well, she is. I mean, you just talk about an absolute bucket. Just walks into whatever team she wants and gets buckets. And as our next guest, who she started the season on fire, Neseya Parker-Williams, she had 12, 9 and 6, doing a bit of everything and doing it all very well.
Well, let's ask her a bit about her season to date. She joins us now. Welcome to the show.
Hi guys, thank you for having me.
Great to have you with us. Now, things are going pretty well at the team that you play for, and you're playing pretty well too. How is life at the Joondalup Wolves?
It's really great. Great bunch of girls, great staff, and the culture at the club is it's just really good, and it's great to be around.
Well, playing really well is a bit of an understatement, undefeated so far. So what have you liked so far on the court with the way this group's playing?
I think our unselfishness. Everyone gets the ball, just passing a lot, playing for each other, and yeah, it's just really fun to play the game with them.
Your form's been really great to start the season. What have you been pleased with in terms of your own game?
I just think playing, without just overthinking it much and just playing my game and how I normally play, and yeah, just having confidence in myself and backing myself up.
Well, we're watching some of these highlights right now, and you said just not overthinking, you're just trying to let things flow. Firstly, what do you want to get out of this season in terms of, do you have another goal? Do you want to get to the WNBL? Once again, we know you had that little stint with the Perth Lynx, or do you perhaps want to try elsewhere? Where do you see your career going after this year?
Oh, I definitely want to have an impact in the NBL1. Definitely trying to get back into the WNBL and just seeing what happens after that. But yeah, I'm pretty open to hopefully either going over east or just getting any opportunity.
Well, we definitely think that you can find a spot on a WNBL roster once again. But you speak about going out there now and just playing. Is it hard not to put that little bit of extra pressure on yourself to perform, knowing you have those goals in mind? And a lot of coaches now, a lot of teams will be looking at the NBL1 to see who can stand out and perform. Is it hard to try and juggle that with playing loose but also not putting too much pressure on yourself?
Yeah, that's probably one of the things I have to work on, not pressuring myself as much. But yeah, I have a great support staff. Coaches is telling me to just play and everything will fall into place.
Now, you were part of the hub season with the Lynx a couple of years ago. It feels like more than a couple of years ago. It feels like a lifetime ago, those hub seasons. But what was the whole experience like in North Queensland, being part of a bubble and that experience with the Lynx?
Oh, I thought it was good. I haven't been over Queensland before, and it was just a great experience to see and to see all the talents over there. Yeah, the Australian talents.
And when you're in the bubble, we know that you're surrounded by basketball pretty much 24/7. So at a young age to be getting the taste of that, you mentioned the goal was to get back to the WNBL. How has those little moments been able to prepare you for now an NBL1 West season, which it is? It's two different styles of a season. The way the NBL1 is, a lot of people have day jobs and they go to train, whereas when you make WNBL, you're really locked into that for that season. How does that prepare you to go on this journey?
I just think like the standards of where you have to be. Like you see the Opals players and you're like, oh, you got to train hard and just get to where they're at and try to keep yourself up to that standard. And I think just having that and seeing where they're at kind of motivates you to try and do your best.
Now, we love a sporting family on the NBL1 show. We had Alicia Froling join us last week, and we know what calibre the Froling family are in basketball. But you're from a sporting family as well. You've got a family member who plays in the AFL?
Yeah, I do. My older brother.
Tell us a bit about Richmond, Matt. Yeah. So he's had experience at St Kilda and Richmond? Yeah. And have you taken have you taken some lessons from him and his sporting journey?
He's basically my idol, but in a different sport. He motivates me a lot. Just basically always on my back saying, you got to get fitter, just do extra training, and just basically a mentor for me.
That must be an interesting one. Tell us, do you have a specific AFL club that you like to follow, or does it change with perhaps where he goes?
No, actually, so I went for Richmond before he went there, and then when he got in the mid-season draft, I was glad that he got into Richmond, so I didn't have to change.
Well, that is exciting. Yeah. Well, there you go. That makes things a lot easier. You mentioned playing for Joondalup, the way you guys are playing right now. We always like to talk about this is going to be the first season we're going to get the NBL1 championship once we get winners from each conference playing together. We know you got to win your own conference first, but how would it be to be able to be a part of that the first time we have every championship, however it's going to be played out? It must be exciting to think about.
Yeah, it definitely is exciting to think about. Just taking every step at a time until we get to there. So hopefully that's, the end result that everyone wants. But
Well, you're making huge strides this NBL1 season in the West Conference. We love to see it, Neseya, and we'd love to see you back in the WNBL. So hopefully that pans out over the next couple of months. Thank you for joining us on the show this week.
No, thank you guys for having me.
Great to catch up with Neseya. Let's take a look at NBL1 West men's action. Plenty happening out west.
Well, there is. And a guest that we had last year, another one who's got a bit bright future ahead, Jerami Grace, had 29-6, 3 assists and 4 steals, made 7 threes in Perth's 12-point win over Coburn. 36 of the development player Isaac Gatorna. He had 22 points for the Redbacks as well.
East Perth fell to Lakeside by 1 point despite Justin King putting up 35 points, 11 rebounds and 8 assists in the loss, flirting with the triple.
He is, and then Geraldton remain undefeated, top of the ladder at 7-0. They came away with a 2-point win over Rockingham and for the Flames. Now, Devondrick Walker is putting up ridiculous numbers every time he steps foot on the floor, 37 points in that game. They did lose, but I'm expecting a lot of NBL teams to start taking a notice. We know he's had the taste on both Phoenix and the Wildcats, but Devondrick Walker is a bucket and he's playing alongside a really loaded team, so they're going to be hard to beat as well.
Sean Stewart had 24 points for the victorious Buccaneers. You make a great point, Pete, and we talked to Neseya about it. I guess more than ever, because NBL1 is truly a national competition now. It is an audition stage, isn't it, for NBL and WNBL, and it's more important than ever that you put up great performances and capture solid form.
Well, it is, and we speak about pressure that the players have to deal with. You just highlighted there because it is important. I mean, all the coaches, all the clubs, both of WNBL and NBL, are looking at this because yes, you're playing on any given night, but a lot of the time you're playing against players. You look in the north, you're playing against Mitch McCarron in the NBL, you're playing against WNBL players like Tess Madgen. So every night is an audition, and it's a chance for you to really put your career on the map. And I'm looking forward to seeing who takes advantage of those opportunities, because the two we spoke to today definitely are.
And I love Alice Cooneck coming back to play for Nunawading. As we said, played for the Spectres a decade ago. She's been playing in Europe for a long time, part of the 3-on-3 team for Australia. So I love that there's a desire there to come home, you know, over winter, be back in Melbourne and play for a club like the Spectres. It's a huge boost for them.
Well, it is. And not only that, but to come back in and just say, you know what, I'll suit up and drop 40. So that must be a really nice feeling. But she can do that on every single night, and I'm sure she'll try to.
Oh, it's going to be great to see her as the season continues. Well, thanks for joining us on the NBL1 show. Thanks to Coles Express. Pete, enjoy the weekend of action coming up, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
I was building on a lecture, verses coming daily under pressure.